Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Sivasari Gaura Bhakti. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, how many devotees? Video only 13 devotees, 14 devotees open video. Okay. From Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13. Prakriti Purush Kshetra Go Gyan Gyo. What are the knowledge? There are 20 knowledge. We read up to ahimsa, shanti, tolerance. I think we have read tolerance also. To relate from simplicity. Simplicity means, okay, Gulshan, what do you want to say?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, simplicity is also done.
Cleanliness also done,
Yes,
yes.
Guru Maharaj. False ego की बात पढ़ना.
False ego accepting this body itself, yeah.
This इसके बाद Guru Maharaj.
False ego also, Om Brahmasmi, yes.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
One should try to, it's not anything.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Janma Mrityu Jara Vedhi Dukkha Dashana Darshana. Janma Mrityu Jara Vedhi. One should see this are not good, they're distressful condition. One should try to understand the distress of accepting birth, death, old age, and disease. There are descriptions in various Vedic literatures of birth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the world of the unborn, the child's stay in the womb of the mother, its suffering, etc., are all very graphically described. It should be thoroughly understood that birth is distressful. Not in birth, this is for the child, for mother also. Because you forget how much distress we have suffered within the womb of the mother. We do not make any solution to the repetition of birth and death. Similarly, at the time of death, there are all kinds of sufferings. And they are also mentioned in the authoritative scriptures. This should be discussed. And as far as disease and old age are concerned, anyone gets practical experience. No one wants to be diseased, and no one wants to be old, to become old, but there is no avoiding this. Unless we have a pessimistic view of this material life, considering the distress of birth, death, old age, and disease, there is no impetus for our making advancement in the spiritual life. One should understand through knowledge, and one should be materially exhausted, considering that these are suffering. And there is no impetus for our making advancement in the spiritual life. We don't understand that. As for detachment from children, wife, and home, it is not meant that one should have no feeling for these. They are natural objects of affection. But when they are not favorable to spiritual progress, then one should not be attached to them. The best process of making the home pleasant is Krishna consciousness. If one is in full Krishna consciousness, he can make his home very happy, because this process of Krishna consciousness is very easy. One should, one need only chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Have some discussion on books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavad, and engage oneself in deity worship. These four things will make one happy. One should train the members of his family in this way. The family members can sit down morning and evening and chant together Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. You have already noticed in one purport, 2 times Prabhupada wrote twice the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If can mold his life, family life, in this way to develop Krishna consciousness, following these 4 principles, then there is no need to change from family life to renounced life. But if it is not congenial, not favorable for spiritual advancement, then family life should be abandoned. One must sacrifice everything to realize or serve Krishna, just as Arjuna did. Arjuna did not want to kill his members, but when he understood that these family members were impediments to his Krishna realization, he accepted the instruction of Krishna and fought and killed them. In all cases, one should be detached from the happiness and distress of family life, because in this world, one can never be fully happy or fully miserable. Happiness and distress are concomitant factors of material life. It's like 2 sides of a coin, happiness and distress. One should learn to tolerate, as advised in Bhagavad Gita. One can never restrict the coming and going of happiness and distress. So, one should be detached from the materialistic way of life and be automatically equiposed in both cases. So, when you should take birth, automatically the death, old age, and disease we have to accept. They're suffering. One should understand that very clearly. Generally, when we get something desirable, we are very happy. And when we get something undesirable, we are distressed. But if we are actually in the spiritual position, these things will not agitate us. To reach this stage, we have to practice unbreakable devotional service. Devotional service to Krishna without deviation means engaging oneself in the 9 processes of devotional service: chanting, hearing, worshipping, offering respect, etc., as described in the last verse of the 9th chapter. Man-manobhava mad-bhakta mad-jaji namaskar. This process should be followed. Naturally, when one is adapted to the spiritual way of life, he did not want to mix with materialistic men. A swan will never try to associate with crow. Devotees are swan. materialist people like Kuro. That should go against his grain. That should go against his grain or gain. One may test himself by seeing how far he is inclined to live in a solitary place. Vivikto desha sevittam. One should test how far he is inclined to live in a solitary place. Okay, if you don't want to test, at least you try to test. I want to live one day without my mobile, then you'll understand. Without unwanted association. Naturally, a devotee has no taste for unnecessarily sporting or cinema. Going or enjoying some social function because he understands that these are simply a waste of time. There are many research scholars and philosophers who study sex life or some other subject, but according to Bhagavad Gita, such research work and philosophical speculation have no value. That is more or less nonsensical. According to Bhagavad Gita, one should make research by philosophical discretion into the nature of the soul. One should make research to understand the self. That is recommended here. Not one should research for to understand how much enjoyable the sex life is. As far as self-realization is concerned, it is clearly stated here that Bhakti Yoga is especially practical. As soon as there is a question of devotion, one must consider the relationship between the super soul and the individual soul. The individual soul and the super soul cannot be one, at least not in the Bhakti conception, the devotional conception of life. This service of the individual soul to the Supreme Soul is eternal, nityam. As it is clearly stated, so bhakti or devotional service is eternal. One should be established in that philosophical conviction. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is explained. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattam jat jnanam adhyam. Those who are actually knowers of the absolute truth know that the self is realized in three different phases as Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the last word in the realization of the absolute truth. Therefore, one should reach up to that platform of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus engaging in the devotional service of the Lord. That is the perfection of knowledge. So there are 20 points. Last one came, first struggle, amanittam adambittam. Last, adhyatmaga nityattam tattva gyanartha darshanam. Tattva gyan. What is tattva? Tattva gyan, last point, 20 point, tattva gyanartha darshanam. What is tattva? One should know the tattva. Tattva is absolute truth. Tattva means absolute truth. One can realize in three phases, Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So all these are knowledge. Now, beginning from the practicing humility, amanittam, up to the point of realization of the Supreme Truth, the Absolute Personal Godhead, Tattva Gyanartha Darshanam, from amanittam up to the Tattva Gyanartha Darshanam, this process is just like a staircase beginning from the ground floor and going up to the top floor. Now, on this staircase, there are so many people who have reached the first floor, the second floor, or the third floor, etc. But unless one reaches the top floor, which is the understanding of Krishna, he is at a lower stage of life. lower stage of knowledge. If anyone wants to complete, if anyone wants to compete with God and at the same time make advancement in the spiritual knowledge, he will be frustrated. Like Hiranyakashipu, he has knowledge about the soul. He instructed his sister-in-law, difference between body and soul. But he was against Krishna. That is why he became frustrated. It is clearly stated that without humility, understanding is not truly possible. Try to understand this. It is clearly stated that without humility, understanding is not truly possible. Here also, how do you see in the verse? 8th verse, Amanittam. So, knowledge starts from Amanittam, humility. If there is water in a glass, if you want to take the glass, water from the glass, then water should put top and mouth should be lower. Then water will come from the glass. If glass is lower, mouth is top, then it will not come. If you want to take knowledge from someone, he should be top. If we want, we should be down. Vidya dadati vinayam. Vidya dadati vinayam. When truly knowledgeable person, he will Vidya dadati vinayam. Vidya will give vinaya. Vidya will teach one how to be humble. What does it mean? If anyone is humble, he is knowledgeable person. When knowledge comes, he will be humble. That means if someone is humble, that humility comes from his knowledge. So most important thing, humble. Like when you go to school, you are humble now. I want to learn from our teacher. Why you are hearing this class? You accepted that, okay, I don't know better than Bhakti Prema Maharaj. That is why you should hear from him. Though it is written in Bhagavad Gita, I cannot understand alone. I should hear from him. You have accepted that in the mind. Then you are attending the class. So if we want, when we are going to school, hearing from a teacher, we first have accepted that he knows better than us. Without that mentality, no knowledge will enter inside. It is clearly stated that without humility, understanding is not possible. To think oneself God is most puffed up. To think oneself God is most puffed up. That means this pride is extreme level. And his opposite is that I am the most fallen. He is the devotee. To think oneself God is most puffed up. And to think I am the servant of every living entity. He is the devotee. Although the living entity is always being kicked by the stringent laws of material nature, he still thinks I am God because of ignorance. The beginning of knowledge, therefore, is amanita, humility. One should be humble and know that he is subordinate to the Supreme Lord. Due to revelation against the Supreme Lord, one becomes subordinate to material nature. One must know and convinced of this truth. So we understood what are the 20 knowledges. Gyam jattat pravakshami jat jnanam amritam asnute anadimat param brahma na shat-tat ashat uchyate gyam. What is the meaning of gyam? Gyan gyo. Gyan means knowledge. Through knowledge, to whom I know, is gyam. Dhyan dhyo. Through dhyan, to whom I want to know, is dhyo. Gyan gyo, dhyan dhyo. the Giyam. So through that knowledge, to whom we should know? Giyam, the knowable. Jat with that, that Pravakshami, I shall now explain. Giyam Jatat Pravakshami. Now I will explain through this 20 knowledge to whom I should know. By knowing that, what will happen? Jat Gyata. By knowing which, Amritam Asnute, one will taste nectar. Whatever nectar? Anadimat Param. Anadi. You will understand that. That is beginningless. Mat Paramo, subordinate to me. Anadi, I am beginningless. And Mat Paramo, Krishna is saying, I am the supreme. Everybody is subordinate to me. Brahma, spirit. No, neither. Sat, cause. Tat, that. No, nor Asat, effect. Uchyate is said to be. Shat, cause. Asat, effect. You will get this word. Sat means Sat, truth. Asat means false. But sometimes Sat means cause and Asat means effect. What does it mean? Sat, cause. What is cause? These material elements, earth, water, fire, their cause. And their interaction is Asat. That water is there, fire is there, ether is there. They're the cause. The Asat is a building. Building is the effect of these materials. But that is effect. That is temporary. Building may not be there. But that components, water, fire, earth, all will be there. Uchyati is said to be. Translation. I shall explain knowledge, knowable. Giyam. I shall now explain the knowable. Giyam. Knowing which you will taste the eternal. Jadgata amritam ashnute. You will understand eternal. Brahman, the spirit, beginningless as subordinate to me. Will understand that we are Brahma. We are a spirit. Though we are Brahma spirit, we are beginningless. And at the same time, Krishna is also beginningless. Krishna is spirit. Krishna is Brahma, Param Brahma. But they are subordinate to me. Lies beyond the cause and effect on this material world. The Lord has explained the field of activities and the knower of the field. He has also explained the process of knowing the knower of the field of activities. Now, he begins to explain the knowable. First the soul and then the super soul. By knowledge of the knower, both the soul and the super soul, one can relish the nectar of life. As explained in the second chapter, the living entity is eternal. This is also confirmed. At which the jiva was born. Anadi karma phale paribhavana. Anadi, beginnings. How is Anadi? Anadi means everything is Adi. Anadi means we don't know the time of the beginning. That is due to Anadi karma. Yes, we are in the spiritual world. We did some mistake that come over. Anadi, we can understand we have done that, but how long ago we did, we don't know. That is why it's called Anadi. This is also confirmed here. This is also confirmed here. There is no specific date at which this jiva was born. Nor can anyone trace out the history of the Jivatma's manifestation from the Supreme Lord. Therefore, it is beginningless. Like if we accept that we have come from Krishna by our mistake. So if we come from Krishna by mistake, so who has sinned? Nobody has sinned. We have not sinned because we have created from. So that is sin by Krishna only. So when he's speaking in Gita, Bhagavad, Vedas, not only Hindu religion, other religion also. When you accept that, that means when you accept that statement, that means you accept Lord as the Supreme. The Vedic literature confirms this. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. Bhagavad Gita says, Na jayate mriyate va kadachit, kadachit vipaschit. Only different way. The knower of the body is never born and never dies, and is full of knowledge. The Supreme Lord as the Super Soul is also stated in the Vedic literature to be Ganesha, the chief knower of the body and the master of the three modes of material nature. In the Smriti, it is said, Dasho Bhuto Hare Revo Nanyashaiva Kadachina. The living entities are eternally in the service of the Supreme Lord. This is also confirmed by Lord Chaitanya in his teachings. Therefore, the description of Brahma mentioned in this verse is in relation to the individual soul. And when the word Brahma is applied to the living entity, it is to be understood that he is Vijnana Brahma as opposite to Ananda Brahma. Ananda Brahma is the Supreme Brahma, personality of Godhead. You may have remembered Brahma Pucham Pratishtha. Can you remember that? Brahma Pucham Pratishtha, 5 stages. Annamaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, Annamaya, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. So before Vijnanamaya, there are other 3 stages. First was Annamaya. Annamaya. Above that, Pranamaya. Above that, Jnanamaya. Above that, Vijnanamaya. Vijnan Brahma. And above that, top is Ananda Brahma. So Ananda Brahma is the Supreme Brahma, personality of Godhead. Now, Krishna is saying, what is explaining? I have explained the 20 process of knowledge. By that knowledge, one should know the knower, the Gayam, the Anandamaya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should know him. So through knowledge, we should know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is knowable, Gayam. So we have heard Khetra, Khetrago, Prakriti Purush. Now, 2 things are cleared. What is Gyan, what is Gyan? 20 Gyanas, knowledge, and the Supreme Lord is given. How we should know him? Through knowledge, how we should know the Supreme? Gyo, that will explain here. How we should understand? We should initial state understanding is Vishnu. Yeah, initial state understanding. Wow, as he is the Lord of the universe, must be very big. His head might be very big. His hands will be very big. His belly must be like ocean. His bones must be like mountains. His artery and veins must be like big, big rivers. His hairs must be like big, big trees. So this is initial understanding of the Supreme Lord. Vishwa Darshan. Above that darshan is Brahma, then Paramatma, then Bhakti. Then different level of understanding. Through that knowledge, we should know initially from Vishwa realization. Hare Krishna. I am a little busy. I will not invite my question tomorrow. Namaste Madhaitu. Hare Krishna Prabhupada.